Okay, so we've got our group set up, and now we want to start creating our events or signups. Many people like to have their events mostly set up before they invite members on board. So all you have to do is click New Event. You've got two places where you can do that. And then we name the event, and you can always change all of this stuff later, but let's say that this is food distribution. Okay, and you can pick a color. Great, so we've got our start now, food distribution. So this whole area is your title area. You can change any of this here. If you wanted to change the title or wanted to change the logo to something that was more specific to food distribution, you're welcome to do any of that here. In addition, you can either upload your own header design here with our impact plan. And if you have a Canva account, you can connect right here directly to your canva.com account and then create a header design with the aspect ratios already preset in Canva, which will then directly get imported into PlanHero. So that's also a handy way to go. You can also change colors here anytime you want as well. I'll go ahead and upload a pre-made header, our food distribution banner there, and then we can go ahead and enter our description. So you can say, thanks in advance for your help. And then you can put anything you want in here. You can also attach any files you might want. It might be photos from previous activities, or it might be instructions on where to park. It could be anything, okay? So once you get your description set up, you'll want to go ahead and set your dates. So if this is something that's repeating, we'll go ahead and show that. And perhaps you've got two locations. So let's say that we're going to do this. Let's say that every Tuesday, and it repeats weekly on Tuesdays. And we'll just do this to the end of the year. Let's go here. Let's see, let's go 10 a.m. Let's go 10 a.m. until, and these are the bounds of the whole day. So you're going to put time slots inside those bounds, but this is the start and the end. So in some cases, it might be 8 to 5, and you're just putting 2-hour increments or something inside of that. Your time zone you can set in your account settings, so you shouldn't need to reset that each time. It's going to be in person, and let's say this is at Costco parking lot. Okay, we'll go here and note that that is all connected to Google Maps. Okay, so those are Tuesdays. So let's add another date, and we'll have Thursdays. We'll start, I guess we should start on the same week. Repeats weekly on Thursdays. And if these were the same locations, we could have just done Tuesdays and Thursdays with the same location, but we're going to set this up a little differently. We'll say that this location is also from 10 to 1. And by the way, I'm clicking here in the middle, right here, and that makes this faster. It's just a shortcut, so you don't have to click through all those arrows toggling. And let's say that this is maybe at a church. We'll say church parking lot. Okay. All right, so we've got those set up. I'm going to say done, and now you'll see that we've got these dates out here all covered, but we don't have anywhere for anyone to sign up yet. This is where now you have two different options here. You would use a simple sign up list for things that you need people to bring. So for example, if you're doing a holiday adopt a family program or something like that, you might have family A, family B, family C, and everything that those families need annotated so someone can sign up for each of those items, Okay, and then the list with time spots is more thinking, so that's what we're going to use right now. And let's see, we're going from 10 till 1. So we're going to add time spots. And I think we're going to do individual ones. Consecutive is where you can set it up where, again, if you're going from 8 to 4, you could do every 2 hours. In this case, we're going to have a couple of different times, so we're going to do individual ones. So we'll say volunteers needed, or we'll just say volunteers sign up. You put anything you want here, and you can put emojis in. Okay, so the first one, let's say, is going to be from 10, we'll say, till 11. And we'll have these people be pick up produce at, we'll say, Whole Foods Dana Point. And then we'll have pickup at Trader Joe's Dana Point. So these could be the people who are going and picking up a bunch of produce. Let's have another one maybe be at a farm stand. Pick up produce at farm stand. Obviously, you go more specific here. Okay, so maybe you've got two cars that need to do each of those. And then we're going to have another spot, and this is going to be, this will be our, let's see, we have 10 to 11 there. So let's say that this is 11 until 1. And these are going to be sort food into boxes, something like that, and then distribute food, something like that. Okay, so let's say that this is 6 people and this people, and then you could just keep on adding any other ways that you want to break this down. Maybe you've got a cleanup crew, maybe you've got a setup crew. You can put all of those things in here. And then we're going to apply this to the dates that we want it on. So in this case, because we have the same time frames, I'm going to go ahead and click all dates. But if you had, for example, only the Tuesdays had this time frame and these specific jobs, I would just click only on the Tuesdays on here. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click it here. And if you don't want people to see who else is signed up, you can click this to make the signups private. In this case, I wouldn't do that. This is something more if you want to protect people's names, like if it's for therapy sessions or maybe it's involving children and you don't want people to know where they are. I would create FOMO instead and say, oh, my friends are doing it on this date. I want to sort boxes with so-and-so. So I would leave that as not private in this case. So I'm going to create the list. And so that's now going to take that list and paste it onto every one of those dates. So you can see those here. And if you had something else that you wanted to add, you certainly could, and not make it part of this one. It could be a separate thing. Maybe you wanted somebody to bring coffee each time. You could do that as well. And then you can also have a question form here. So if you wanted to do something like more info needed, and you could say maybe if you only want them to select one choice or select more than one. Let's say, how did you hear about us? Then you could add, friend, organization, mandatory, volunteer service. Anyway, you could put all kinds of stuff on here, online search, whatever you want to do there. And then you can make that required or not required. So if it's required, then after they sign up, they're going to have to answer this. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to make it required or not. So that's how that would look. And then we would look at launching it. And when we launch, we're going to say, hang on, you haven't looked at your settings yet. So here are your settings. So the first one here is make phone number mandatory. In this case, I would probably go ahead and make it mandatory because if someone doesn't show up, you'd want to have their phone number handy. If the phone number isn't necessary, if it's not that kind of a program that you're dealing with, then don't put it on there. It's just one more thing for people to add when they're signing up. And note that when someone signs up, we require a first name, a last name, and their email address. And that allows us, of course, to send a confirmation to them, and it allows you to reach them, and it allows us to send out reminders. Okay, if you need to limit people in terms of their maximum number of spots, you can do that. Like if you only want somebody to sign up 1 per event or 1 per day, you can do those kinds of things here. And then this allows you to set a custom email confirmation message. So if you want to say something like, please make sure you wear your organization's t-shirts or have your hair pulled back or whatever it is, you could put that in there in your confirmation. Wait list is kind of cool. If you enable your wait list, we would go back into the list that we made and check the wait list on it. This has to be enabled here first before you can do that. If you need a waiver required, you can do that here. You can enable check-in, and all of these, we have all information on all of these in separate documents. So check in, require a background check, and then this one would make it so that only approved group members can sign up for this event. So if you have some things where you want to make sure that you've already approved someone, maybe they needed training, that kind of thing, then that would, even though people could publicly see the sign up, they can't sign up for it unless they're an approved member. Okay, and here are reminders. So this can be 1 to 5 hours before, or 1 to 5 days before, or 1 to 2 weeks before. And you can also set up a custom message in here if you want. You have a second reminder option as well. So, and then maybe a couple hours before. Okay, so this is your email communication. This is who's going to receive what emails when participants sign up, edit, delete, or who can be contacted from the event page. In addition, you can change the name of the creator on the event page, so it's not the same name as the account owner. So you can do that right here. And then this is where you would add your co-organizers as well. And they're all listed here. We just have this blinked out for privacy. And then this is also where you can change your URL. So you can see we have this, we've got lots of fun letters and numbers here, and then food distribution. So we automatically just put in the title here. You, of course, would not want to change this after you've sent this out because they will find themselves not getting to the right URL. But if you want to change it early on and say, Dana Point or something like that on it, you could do that. And then that'll change everywhere else as well. And then coming down here, this is your event QR code. So if you wanted to put this out to different organizations, schools, wherever you want to put it, you could download it and send out flyers and say, come help us out with this. We're looking for volunteers. And then this is if you want to embed your event on a website. We normally don't recommend this. It's easier to just put the link in and let people bring up the link. We tend to see better user experience if they are directly on the link. And then this section of learning on this, but the overview is it allows you to lock it so that no one else can sign up. And then here, if you can configure it, there's a number of ways you can do it. So you can keep it locked until a certain date so that then it's opened up and people can start to sign up. So they can see it, but they can't sign up. And then you can also lock it after a certain date where you don't want any more people to sign up for the future. Okay, and this one is good for not having last minute changes. So you could say, for example, 2 days prior to the event, nobody can sign up, edit, or delete. And in the case of what we just did, which is a recurring sign up, this would say, hey, 2 days before each of those Tuesdays, for example, you can't change what you're doing. You could say, hey, you can't add anything, you can't delete anything, and you can't edit anything. And then that allows you to have a pretty good idea of who you've got when and where. And then this one is more of a restrictive thing where you've got something that's people signing up too far in advance. So you limit how far in the future they could sign up for something again. Typically, this is a recurring thing. So if you had a really popular dinner that's once a month and you just have one event for it, it has all 12 months in it, but you really don't want people signing up, 8 months in advance or something. You might want to say, hey, 5 days out, you can sign up for the next one, or 7 days out, you can sign up for the next one. That allows you to have that one nice event, and you don't have to create 12 of them, but it also keeps people from signing up so far in advance, but they have no idea whether they're actually in town or not. All right. Okay, a couple more down here. This is your public group page. This checkbox determines whether or not your event shows up on your public group page. So if you're using your group page to share out all of your activities, which is a good idea, but maybe you have one that you don't want on there, you would uncheck this. Okay, and don't be alarmed. If you're an admin, you're going to see it because we have to have you see it or else you don't know it's there. But if you were logged out, you would in fact not see it as a non-admin. So this just allows you to do things like if you have say an executive board meeting or something like that you don't want other people to sign up for, you would just keep that off the group page. Okay, and here you can sync your event to a Google Calendar. The entire event gets synced to your calendar, date additions, date deletions, date start times, any of those changes would automatically be updated on your selected Google Calendar. This actually syncs the signups to the calendar. So this is if somebody signs up, it'll sync to your calendar. So that's really handy because then you can see who signed up when. This is nice for folks who are doing appointments and that kind of thing. There's a lot there, and then you would just go ahead and launch it. There's your link, and you can take that, copy it, and shoot it out to anybody and everybody and start getting signups. Thanks for watching.